Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, traders from across the globe. Welcome to Short-Term Trading Live with Oscar's Weekend Webinar. Traders, weekend webinars, if for you traders who may not know this, is our opportunity to take a slightly longer-term view of these markets and where it looks like they're going. The ones that I concentrated on this weekend were the indices, and boy, oh boy, traders, I can only say one thing after the analysis I've done this weekend. The daily and the monthly equals a bullish picture. Now, I did everything that I could to come up with some reason to come out in front of the camera on Sunday night and say, hey, this looks bearish, we're going to sell it. But after doing my homework, there was nothing I could find that would make me want to be short the indices over the intermediate term. I'm not talking about in the next 5-10 minutes or 5-10 hours. I mean over the next 2 to 3 weeks. Traders, the markets look really strong here, and I'm uncertain where the strength is coming from, but I see it in the charts. Before we go any further, traders, remember this. Futures trading is risky and can result in substantial financial loss. Futures trading is not suitable for every trading account. You can lose a lot of money in this game. It is no joke. You can lose your house. You can lose worse than that. So if you do not understand this game, don't put your money in it. Don't put any trades on. It's for the people who actually understand trading futures and are professional traders or trying to become those. So really, if you don't get this game, don't be following this video. Just watch it, and if you like it, you like it. Watch what you do in these markets. They are very treacherous. I want to make sure that you know that before we get into this chart segment. Traders, what I'm going to tell you is for September 10th, for October 11th, 2010, we are filming this video. It is Sunday evening right now, and we're filming this video that basically looks forward for the next 2 or 3 weeks. And what I see is a slightly longer-term view is bullish right now. Traders, I have a question for you. In fact, before I start to show you why the charts look bullish, and I know many of you are going to write into me and go nuts because you're going to misinterpret this next question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Do you see real estate slowly beginning to pick up in your neighborhood? And there's a reason why I'm asking that, traders, because I think it's time to start buying REITs, real estate investment trusts. I know that sounds insane, but here's the question to you. And you know what? Before I pose the question, I'm going to explain to you why I'm going to ask it. In the neighborhood I live in, I just moved to Vegas 3 years ago, just under 3 years ago. When we got to Vegas, we were just at the peak of real estate, and it started to really crumble. And what I've noticed happened is real estate that was worth $500,000 went to $100,000. Real estate that was worth $1.5 million, you could have picked up for $300,000. It really got out of control here in Vegas. What I have noticed very, very different, however, than watching all these houses up in foreclosure and signs for sale everywhere in the neighborhood is this, and this is what I want you to tell me if this happened in your neighborhood. On the block I live in, and there's many like it that have a lot of empty houses, there were 3 properties for sale and 1 behind my house. All 3 properties on my block in the last 6 months are gone, and the property behind me is gone. The property I'm in, of course, I bought. The one to the right of me, someone else bought. The one down the street, someone bought. And the property behind me has now been purchased. And in fact, the property behind me was purchased by me, and I just received a letter from a builder stating I have a lot of interest in that property. Would you like to sit down and speak with me? So my question is to you, and I am not saying real estate has bottomed out or turned. I am asking you to write back to me, leave a comment question. Let me know what you think. Leave your answers below this video, but let me know what you think about this. In your neighborhood, are you suddenly starting to see a little bit less for sale signs, fewer for sale signs? A couple of houses that were empty suddenly are not empty anymore. Are you starting to notice that trend? It will not start all at once. It will not be real estate gone wild, but you will slowly notice properties starting to get eaten up in your neighborhood if, in fact, it is beginning to turn. Now, granted, Vegas is a cosmopolitan city. Lots of people want to come to Vegas, and it was the worst real estate, or I should say, the worst glut of real estate in the nation the worst reduction in prices happened here in Vegas. So yes, you would think maybe Vegas would be one of the first ones to pop. So again, I must ask you, are you noticing this in your town, in your city, in your neighborhood? And I'm not saying that real estate has gone nuts and that you got to run out and buy it. I'm asking you to write back to me again. Let me know what you see in your town, in your neighborhood, down the street, near the nearest city. Are you starting to notice a few less for sale signs and a few more people starting to buy those houses? I'd love to hear from you, depending upon what part of this country you are in, or what country, whatever country you're in, whatever state you're in here, whatever country you're in, please write to me, because I want to do a survey and see if this is happening outside of the Vegas area. Anyway, what made me kind of start looking at REITs was driving around my neighborhood and noticing that houses are starting to get bought up. So I started to pull some charts on the REITs, and you know what, traders? Wow. Maybe, just maybe, those REITs are starting to bottom out. Now, if I notice REITs are bottoming out, and for you traders that don't know what a REIT is, it's a real estate investment trust. It allows you to own real estate without being a landlord. So if you wanted to buy into a company that owns 50 buildings in Manhattan, you can buy into their REIT trust and you own real estate without being a landlord. I think that those are slowly starting to bottom, and they may be great buys over the next 6 months. So do your homework on REITs for a long-term view, but write back to me and let me know what you think in your neighborhood. Very important for me to know if it's happening around you. You got something for me?
I was actually going to ask you to spell what REITs means.
But I did that, didn't I?
You did well.
All right, so again, for you traders that go nuts over every word I say, you're going to write all kinds of hate mail. Oscar, you're a nut. You're saying real estate's bottom. You don't know what you're doing. It's not what I'm saying. I'm asking a simple question. Are you noticing it in your neighborhood? Because I am noticing it here in Vegas proper. All right, now, let's get out of that and let's look at some charts, because traders, the green arrow for the indices has surprised the crap out of me. In plain English, I did not expect a green arrow today. I did not expect to be buying the markets, but when I did my homework, I was knocked over by just how bullish technically the picture's starting to become. So what I want to do with you right now is I want to take you down a little path here. We're going to look at a few charts, not that many, but the charts that we're about to look at will be meaningful, because I want to show you the daily, which is basically what we trade each day. It's like the trees. You know, you don't separate the forest from the trees. You're stuck in the trees. You trade the daily. In the daily, you buy, you sell. You're never really sure what the general direction is. You just know what the daily direction is. When you look at a weekly and a monthly chart, it absolutely separates the forest from the trees. You see the exact direction of the forest. You know whether it's going north, up, or south, down. And I like to do that in my weekend webinars when it's called for. This one is called for. I see a change taking place. I hope that's what's going to happen. And with no further ado, let me show that to you on some charts. Okay, traders, the first chart you are looking at this evening is the Dow Jones Transportation Average, and it is deemed the leader of U.S. indices. Of course, I didn't peg it the leader of U.S. indices. That was Charles Dow, so blame him if you don't believe me. Anyway, the leader of U.S. indices had what we expected to be a triple top, and that was only 4 days ago. Top one, top two. Here we hit bang, bang. We kept bouncing off the top. We had that one-day spike run, then broke down and went back up and hit that high again and stayed there. And most of us analysts assumed that that's a triple top, and the next thing is a breakdown before a rally. Well, traders, 4 days later, and we have bested that triple top, and we are here right now. And I kid you not, this market looks very bullish, because if you can see, we're using this parallel channel very well. It keeps hitting top and bottom, and we are on our way. We're sitting right here right now, and I say we go up here and probably hit the top of that channel. So when I noticed that we got above just a few days ago of this triple top, I said, boy, that's interesting, but I wonder if the S&P would be willing to confirm, because if the leader is going, the S&P should be following it. So I started to do more analysis on that, and you'll see in this chart segment that the S&P absolutely is beginning to confirm the fact that the leader is taking us higher. But anyway, looking at the daily, triple tops, we all know you sell triple tops, that a market breaks down from a triple top for a while, then we'll finally go up and take out the triple top. Well, there was no chance of going down from here. We went right above it for 4 days and stayed here. And traders, I like this chart. Now let's look at a few more, because I think you'll understand why I'm getting bullish. Okay, traders, you see that the transportation average was above that triple top. So the follower, the S&P, 1, 2, it had 3 tops here as well. We bested that top, but what I think is fantastic about it is it rallied up, came back down, and actually tested it, rallied up again. Next time it came down, it hit the bottom of this trend, and we've been rallying ever since. That is pretty strong, traders. That's a very well-defined parallel channel. You are above a triple top without slowing down at all for the little pullback. I think that's a very bullish market. Getting above this plateau was absolutely key for the S&P. It is now above that plateau. It came back down to test it once. It came back down to test it again. And off to the races. This looks like it wants to go. But we're not done here. Let me show you a few more charts. Okay, traders, now we're going to step things out a little bit. We're going to remove the white noise, the static. We're going to remove the nonsense, and we are going to look at the monthly chart. There is no nonsense in a monthly bar, traders. It is what it is. There are no fake outs. The monthly bar tells you where the market was from beginning to end of each month. What I find extremely interesting is that you do not, I will repeat that a third time, you do not get through the OTAPMA or the Omni Trading Academy's proprietary moving average on the monthly very easily. As you can see here, no shot at getting through. When we did get through it here, you had a severe breakdown. And then when we got back above it, we started to test it. We tested it right here. We tested it right here. And traders, here's where the average is now. Here's where the market is now. And here's where it is tonight since we've opened. That is very, very strong. Look at how it held OTAPMA and exploded, and it's staying inside of a very well-defined parallel channel. Traders, this monthly channel hit here, it 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 hit here, and it's on its way back up now for more. I like this channel. I love the fact that we are above the Omni Trading Academy's proprietary moving average, and I like the fact that the leader is in that channel solidly. So what's interesting is the chart that you are about to see next, because you can see that the leader absolutely bested that average, right? Let's go look at one more leader, and then we're going to look at the followers. Okay, traders, another leader, the NASDAQ. Again, above my OTAPMA with no trouble at all inside the parallel channel. Here's what's really interesting. If you look at this resistance line right here, it starts at the highs, the previous highs. We are now above the resistance line on the monthly. It literally is sitting above the resistance line. So the dailies were above the resistance lines. The monthly is above the resistance line. The monthly is in a smartly defined parallel channel. And the monthly on the NASDAQ and on the transportation average deemed the leader is above our OTAPMA. So if the leaders are above OTAPMA, that means that the followers, like S&P, should either be at OTAPMA or just getting above it as well, right? Wouldn't that make sense? Followers follow the leader. The leader is above. The follower should be getting there. Let's go look at the follower and see what that looks like. Okay, traders, the Dow Jones Industrial Average and the S&P Emini absolutely are led around by the Dow Jones Transportation Average. The tranny is deemed our leader. The Dow Jones Industrial Average follows it. That major resistance line I showed you, we just settled above it on the monthly. We're right here. But here's the interesting thing. As of this month, we are above OTAPMA. OTAPMA is here. Our settlement is there. The leaders got above OTAPMA and went like this. The followers are just getting above OTAPMA now. That tells me that the followers are going to do exactly what they do, follow the leader up higher and higher. Traders, I'm trying to show you a picture here of the dailies and the monthlies. They are all bullish, and the leaders have already started to really run, and the followers are just getting on their feet. They're just getting on their bicycles, so to speak, getting ready to follow the leaders. This is becoming a very bullish picture, but there's a little bit more here, so let me show you. Traders, the S&P monthly. Is it at OTAPMA? Not yet, but the Dow Jones Industrial Average just settled above it. The transportation average clearly settled above it a long time ago, so we can check that one off. The NASDAQ settled above it, we can check that. The Russell settled above it, we can check that. The transportation average settled above it, we can check that. What we cannot check yet is the S&P, and we cannot check the Dow Jones Industrial Average, which is basically the same as the S&P. So far we have 4 out of our 6 averages above OTAPMA, and above resistance. I say the followers, now don't forget these are the leaders, they're above. I say those followers, the S&P and the industrial average, follow that leader and get above this purple average and just continue on. Traders, I am as shocked that I'm doing this video for you as you probably are listening to it, because I fully assumed that on Sunday afternoon after doing my analysis, I'd be calling for a downward market. I cannot do that with something like this. Here's the major resistance. Here's the monthly of the S&P. We settled right here. We are well above the major resistance and just beginning to test Otapma, and the leaders bested it with no trouble at all. I am going to bet that the follower will do the exact same thing. Let's go look now at something else that I've been following, and that is the dollar relationship to the euro. Okay, traders, for slightly shorter term trading, you have the euro in a very well-defined parallel channel. It keeps bouncing off the bottom of this channel. Every time it hits it, it rallies once again. We settled on Friday right about here after having a Friday that hit the trend line and rallied up, settled right about here. Then we opened up Sunday evening up here and are already pointing in that direction, looking like it wants to head all the way up and hit the top of that parallel channel. Traders, the euro, quite bullish. The dollar index, inverse of the euro, quite bearish, and that is absolutely giving buoyancy to our stocks. One last chart I want to show you is the dollar index. Okay, traders, the inverse of the euro these days is the dollar index. This is the daily bar chart on the dollar index. Again, I show this to you in video after video. Major, major, major head and shoulders formation. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder. Then the projection was down to a minimum of 76.70. That puts us down here, traders. The market is here now. It can easily end up down here at 76.70. And my guess is that it's going to go through that and probably trade 7,500. But we will take one projection at a time. We'll wait for 76.70. Once it's hit, then we'll look and see if 75 is the next number. But I will say this, dollar looks as bearish, equally as bearish, as the euro looks bullish. Traders, pull your own charts, look at the dollar versus the euro, and then go look at the indices, look at your dailies, look at your weeklies, look at your monthlies. Be totally objective, and I kid you not, if you are objective with no opinion, you will see that they are clearly pointing towards the upside. Traders, by the way, if you don't mind, if you have charts that you would like to post here at the Omni Trading Academy for me to view or for the other OmniX students to review, please use chartupload.com. It's www.chartupload.com. It's our service. It's absolutely virus-free. It's a great service for you and will cost you nothing where you can post your charts. Please use it. So, traders, you've seen those charts. There is a technical argument there that you absolutely should pull your own analysis and either agree with or conflict with, but certainly look at that, traders. Now, again, I am not offering you my opinion because personally my opinion would be the downside. You know, I shouldn't even say that. Let me tell you what my opinion is. My opinion is the Omni. That's the only opinion I have. The Omni gave us about 8 months ago, told us we'd see 1,290 to 1,300 this year. I thought the Omni was crazy. You know where we're at right now, traders? We're starting to look at the possibility of seeing 1,200 this month. That is no joke. That means you got to go 90 points in 3 months to reach that target objective. I am not saying that's where it's going. I am telling you I have no opinion. The Omni is my opinion. The Omni has a green arrow for tomorrow. The Omni says this thing is going higher before the year is over. So I'm not going to argue with it. Now, here's what's interesting. I recognize this is Rocktober. It's the month that every year practically the stock market gets rocked. But that doesn't mean it has to get rocked this year. Why? Didn't get rocked last October. And, traders, we got hit so hard between 2007, 8, and 9, it could take years before you got to worry about a cycle of Octobers knocking the markets down again. We had so much damage done to our markets in the last 3 years, no one has ever seen such carnage. So now that we are coming out of that, does it mean it has to be like it used to be before the carnage began, where in October you get smacked down? Maybe not. Maybe the cycles are changing. Now, I have always been a firm believer in Rocktober's a bad month and we're going to get hit. But those charts I just had on this board a few moments ago do not agree that that's going to be the outcome of October. So I am going with the charts. I'm going with the Omni. I'm putting my opinion where I always do. I lock it in a drawer in the morning before I leave my bedroom, and I keep it there because I don't want an opinion in these markets. I want to trade technical analysis. With that in mind, the TA I just showed you, traders, clearly points to the upside in the indices and the currencies. Euro currencies, not just the euro currency, but the European currencies in general look good now that the dollar's getting hammered. So I think indices and currencies go up. And that dollar index chart I showed you, what else could happen with it? It almost has to go lower. That huge head and shoulders. A lot of traders out there selling it. The Fed wants it cheap. $1. Central banks don't seem to mind it. So, hey, it also seems, and I don't know because I don't have proof, but I think the Fed or the powers that be in our government spoke to the Japanese government, and they are allowing their yen to go up in order to push our dollar down. Why would I think that? Because the BOJ came out full strength and defended that yen at 120, 121 just a couple of weeks ago. Now we're sitting at 122 and change and no defense in sight. Maybe something's going on there. I'm not a paranoid person. I do not believe in conspiracy theories. But I do believe that central banks speak to other central banks, and sometimes one feels the detriment of their currency and the betterment of another is best for the whole picture. I have a feeling they've convinced Japan to let that yen go up while our dollar goes down. We'll see what that means. Anyway, traders, don't forget, right below this video, you can leave your comments on the REITs, the real estate investment trusts. Tell me what you think about them. More importantly, tell me what you see in your neighborhood, and I am not expecting you to tell me everything's rosy. I expect for you to tell me whether or not you see anything selling at all or if it's just getting worse. All right, traders, don't forget about our mobile site. You can see our Omnis. You can, on some phones, you can actually come to our trading rooms, and you can trade right over your cell phones. Traders, we have a cell phone site. It's m.livewithoscar.com. Make sure you take your iPhone or your Android or whatever cell phone you have and come join our site if you got to be on the go, because then at least you can see what we're doing while you're traveling. Is there anything else I should mention in this video, guys, or am I out of here?
Why don't you tell them about chartupload.com once more?
Once more? Yeah, Mike, tell them about chartupload.com.
Traders, upload all of your charts to chartupload.com. It's free and virus-free.
Well, there you go. He saved me, I don't know, 10, 12 words. How great is that? Thank you, Mikey. All right, traders, so I'm getting out of here. It's only Sunday night. We got a long week ahead of us. Traders, again, as insane as this sounds, I'm out here to tell you it's a bullish video. I never dreamed I'd be saying those words. But here we are, Sunday evening. The Omni tells me we're going up. The charts tell me over the next few weeks the path is up, not down. Crazy as it seems, I'm going to go with it. Traders, keep your emotions out of trading. One of the best things you can do to help yourselves with that is call me, 702-629-4755. But for you people who can't be talked down in any other way, remember to say this to yourselves every morning, every afternoon, every evening, and you know what that is. Stops are in. Emotions are out. Always remember, futures trading is risky and can absolutely result in substantial financial loss. Traders, trading futures is not for everybody. It's not suitable for every trading account. And as always, past performance is not indicative of future results.